All right, guys. It is election time. Snap election in Canada. So there is one of our great leaders of a political party there in Canada, and his name is Jagmeet Singh, and he says NDP Singh vows, sorry about the wind, guys, to eliminate interest on student loans and forgive debt. So there it is right there. They're all campaigning across the country. So what is going on, folks? Let me this paper's the wind's everywhere. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Coffee with Mike. Guys, okay, so you guys know what we've been we started talking about student loan debt back on this channel in 2012, if the videos are still up on the YouTube side. But anyways, what's happening? Well, there's a lot happening, and I need to address this. So, student loan debt. You just can't forgive student loan debt because why? Student loan debt became federalized. Yes, once student loan debt became federalized, it became too expensive to go to school. And once you federalize things, the price of everything, the price of tuition, the price of books, the price of teachers, the price of everything goes up. So how do you cope with that? How do you go to school? Well, you get a student loan. And that's what's happened. Back in the day, you would work your part-time job, buy your car, and not only that, you would actually save enough money to go to school. Unfortunately, a lot of these jobs, these part-time jobs, aren't filled with students saving up for college anymore. Yeah, well, that's for another time anyways. Okay, so what is happening? They want to... so if you look at the housing market, okay, that's one major factor in propping Canada's economy. Student loan debt's up there too. Once they federalize student loan debt, and, you know, they can adjust the interest rates as they see fit, they just can't abolish it. It's like telling all mortgage homeowners, you made a mistake buying that home at the wrong time at the top of the market. We're going to have to forgive your debt. It doesn't work like that, people. So here it is. So in Sudbury, Ontario, federal NDP Leader Jagmeet Singh pledged financial breaks for Canadian students on Saturday, vowing to do away with interest on federal student loans immediately and permanently, as well as forgive student loan debt. So anyways, I have someone that emailed me because there was mass deportation of Portuguese families from Canada in 2006, 7, and 8. Massive deportation. 47,000 Portuguese families deported from the province of Ontario. And one guy emailed me a few weeks back telling me, Mike, if they forgive student loan debt, do you think they'll forgive my debt? I'm in Portugal now. They deported me my second year of college or something. So I was wondering about that. Would they forgive student loan debt for deported Portuguese family members? That's something to look into. Maybe because he still gets calls and he still gets bothered by it. Okay, Singh unveiled his latest campaign promise outside of the University of Sudbury ahead of the September 20 federal election. Remember, I told you guys they're going to call a snap election. And remember, I told you guys a year ago, not last week, a year ago, I told you they were going to call a snap election. And then I said that Trudeau's going to win by a landslide because in-person voting is dangerous, okay? Same thing like happened in the States. Singh said students have been among the Canadians hardest hit by COVID-19 pandemic, adding forgiving their debt will give youth a necessary leg up. Then it goes into election websites. So let me flip this over here real quick. So here it goes in to say, students are struggling when they graduate, so we want to go beyond just eliminating entirely interest. Okay? So they want to go beyond in eliminating entirely interest. So they want to eliminate the interest on them, but they want to go further than that. We want to also forgive student debt to make sure that they're not being crushed under the weight of that debt. So student loans, a lot of students have been under the weight of the debt, crushed. Is this a promise that he could fulfill? He can't. Again, it's under the federal it's a massive federal income for the country. Right? We followed the Americans. Canada followed the Americans when they basically started selling this, you need an education to get ahead in life. A lot of people I saw that got an education here that I know of personally either got deported back to Portugal or moved back to Europe because there was a mass exodus of Europeans leaving, and a lot of them couldn't leave because they had student loan debt. Okay, so if they forgive the student loan debt, could Europeans go back to Europe? That's the question in Canada that I want to ask. So if they forgive my student loan, like I don't have student loan debt, but if they forgive a European student loan debt, could they go back to Europe? That's another one, because a lot of times they don't let you leave if your student loan debt isn't paid, right? So Sudbury's troubled Laurentian University recently saw nearly 60 undergraduate programs and 11 graduate programs axed amid the insolvency recruiting plan. So people aren't going to college anymore, or they can't go to college, or they can't afford to go to college because their parents are at home, because the private sector is getting hit the hardest. The private sector is what's getting destroyed in this country. The private sector. Oh, Mike, I work for the government, I'm safe. Yeah, but if the private sector doesn't exist, the mom and pop's businesses, the government jobs won't be there unless they start printing money and devaluing the private sector savings. Yeah, so it's an attack on the middle class, right? So the University of Sudbury was affiliated with Laurentian until May, when the Laurentian terminated its relationship with 3 federal universities. Laurentian declared insolvency in February. So I think that's a bank, Laurentian Bank. I think that's what it is. Singh called Laurentian a vital to the north. Oh, Laurentian University. Okay, it's out of. Okay, I know what they mean now. So I'm not going to read this. This is. I want to know from you guys. Can they forgive student loan debt? That's the key right here. That's the key question. I mean, or would they be selective on canceling student loan debt? Very selective, right? So there's a lot of people that can't, like there's a lot of people I know that have told me they can't travel or they can't leave the country because they're holding down X amount of student loan debt. They told me that. And that was a thing back in the early 2011, 12, 13, 14, right? So people will skip on the debt, right? And I got a buddy that was deported back to Portugal, and he's emailing me saying he's still getting calls to pay his student loans off from Canada. But he said, I would have finished the courses and got a job and worked if you guys didn't deport me. So that was a big purge of Portuguese families in 2007. They did it to Filipino families in 2016, where Canada deported 79,000 Filipino workers or Filipino people or families. 79,000 people deported from Canada. If you actually look into it a little bit deeper, Filipinos are Catholic, predominantly Catholic. Portuguese are Catholic. Maybe you get the picture. Let me know. Are they going to cancel student loan debt? But for who? That's the question. So they worded in a way where we're going to forgive some debt. Who's going to be forgiven? That's the problem. And the taxpayers will be burdened with paying student loan debts to students that never got the job that they were acquiring for. And you get what I'm saying with this. So this is becoming a big problem. So we need to factor in all the pieces of the puzzle. If they're going to forgive student loan debt, is it all students or select students? Like if I go apply to work in a government job, they're selective. Anything for government is selective. They decide what the media says. They select what the media is allowed to say here in Canada. They select everything. It's not across the board blanket fair, right? If they're going to bail out one media company in Canada or 2 media companies in Canada, they should bail them all out. So should we bail out students that made the wrong decision? Heck, should we even bail out mortgage holders that made a mistake buying at the top of the market and now they can't afford their mortgages? Comment below. Lots of love. Enjoy your coffee. I'll see you tonight. Guys, link to Mike in the Night tonight in the comment section. God bless.